Cancer is like an epidemic for women, especially things like ovarian cancer, breast cancer, lung cancer.
I say if there is a symptom, go get checked.
I call it Scanxiety. Doctor used the word carpet bombing the body. So you are killing everything in your body.
Cancer is a phenomenon that is happening in all of us. 1 in 2 men and 1 in 3 women will be affected by cancer in their lifetime.
We associate thinness with fitness, which is not true at all.
But there is one bottom line what helps a person from cancer, and that is eating less.
May I ask you that moment when it was told to you that you're diagnosed with stage 4 cancer?
I mean, I knew it was something terrible, but it just kept feeling that how could this happen to me? Like I always say, early detection saves lives. I've never done a health checkup. I cannot live with this regret. I will give it my best.
2/3 of all cancers are detected in advanced stages
Right.
because we don't screen well.
Yeah.
She fought the freaking stage 4 disease away.
Eventually, it's all about faith. So I'm sitting here with the doctor and I'm going to say something which I'll probably get trolled for. But life is not worth living when you're in pain.
Yeah. You know, cancer is one of those words that instantly makes us pause. We did an episode on cancer with Hina Khan. Dr. Sewanti was with us and she said something that really stayed with me. Cancer today is not just a disease, it is an epidemic. And the numbers reflect that. Estimates from recent cancer registry data show a lifetime risk of cancer in India at about 11%, meaning roughly 1 in 9 Indians will be diagnosed with cancer in their lifetime. And women now account for just over 51% of all cancer cases in India, with breast, cervical, and ovarian cancers being the most prevalent in women. But what's important, and what we're consciously trying to do on All About Her, is to move the conversation beyond fear. And I'd like to share something personal here. My mother was diagnosed with stage 0 cancer. At that time, I don't think any of us even understood what stage 0 means. There was fear, there was confusion, there were a bunch of unanswered questions, but there was also something else, timing. Because it was caught early, her journey looked very different from what we usually associate with cancer. And that experience really made me realize how powerful awareness, screening, and honest conversation is. Hello and welcome to All About Her, a space where we have honest and meaningful conversations about women's health, wellness, happiness, and self-care. And today we're discussing cancer in women. Our first guest today is someone whose presence in cinema has been defined by warmth, by elegance, and by an effortless strength, at a time when she was fully immersed in life as a mother, as a partner, as a woman with so much ahead of her. She was diagnosed with cancer, and what followed was not just a medical journey, but I think a deeply human one, marked by honesty, by resilience, and marked by the courage to speak openly about the process of healing, fear, and hope. So please welcome Sonali Bendre.
Thank you, Soha.
Thank you so much for being here.
My pleasure.
Our second guest today is someone who brings clarity and calm to a conversation that often can feel overwhelming. She is India's leading oncologist, researcher, and one of the most respected names in the field of cancer care in India. I'm happy to not only welcome, but welcome back Dr. Sewanti Limaye, Director, Medical and Precision Oncology at HN Reliance Hospital, Mumbai. We've had one episode already on oncology, which really focused more on breast cancer, and Hina was kind enough to come on the show. And I've encouraged people to see that episode because the point of today's conversation is to take that further a little bit,
Sure.
to speak about a different journey, which is your journey, Sonali. Right. And I thought I would ask you first by saying, do you still enjoy having these conversations, or does it take you back to a time that you want to forget?
Yeah, I mean, I do want to forget. I mean, I've forgotten it also, Soha, a lot of things.
But I don't want to corroborate it.
I don't know, but a lot of times, now when I look back, and sometimes when I'm asked questions, I might look at you blankly and say, yeah, but what happened? Because I have actually genuinely forgotten it. Maybe that's my body's way or mind's way of coping with it, but you move on, life goes on, and you find, and you want to make better memories and newer memories. Yeah. But I would say one thing, that there are some things through this journey that were wonderful. And I think those memories I have. I think it's just the ones that were not so wonderful that I have kind of moved on from.
Yeah, I think that's is in general in life we sort of do that.
Yeah, it's just the way I think we cope with
Yes.
trauma, I suppose.
But some people also do hold on to trauma.
I don't hold on to it.
If I could ask you, because I apologize for taking you back. I think I really like, because as you said, you are now, it's been 7 years, and this is behind you in so many ways, and you may not want to talk about certain things. The only intention is to spread awareness. And we were speaking about this earlier, as perhaps when you were diagnosed with cancer, which was in 2018, it was still spoken about in hush-hush terms.
Very. It was not a conversation anybody was having. It was something that happened rarely and sometimes and to someone somewhere.
Yeah.
That was the way it was. But when I put the news out that I was taking off for this treatment, and I didn't want speculation about it and gossip about it. My child was young, parents were here, internet was all over the place, and I just didn't want false, fake news, which still happened, but I just wanted to control it as much as I could. I wanted it to be my narrative, and so I did put that out. And the kind of response that me and my team got, because was crazy. We got responses from all stratas of society, men, women, aunties, uncles, children, brothers, sisters, friends, all kinds, from towns, cities, villages, because that's the great part of social media. It's very democratic, and you can reach so many people. Yeah. And there was one thing that we found in common in that entire response that we were getting. Yes, grateful for the lot of love that I got. I mean, I didn't know I could get so much love, and I'm really grateful for that. But the other thing that came out was that everyone was speaking about how somebody they knew had gone through it, or they themselves had gone through it, and how they were not talking about it. I went through it alone, or we kept it quiet, we didn't really share it, and it's so amazing that I can share it with you now and talk about it with you now. And my thought was that why wasn't this spoken about? Because for me, the moment I spoke about it, the way the family and my support system, everybody, the way they rallied around me, it was so beautiful. It helped me, it was like a weight off me. And I'm like, oh my God, imagine if you have to go through this alone, hiding it. Yeah. That would be so tough. Yeah. And why are we hiding it? Yeah. Then I thought about that, and I said, why is this conversation not out there? Yeah. Maybe it's a societal thing. Maybe because this is my thought process. I don't know if it is true, but maybe it is because a lot of times this illness can be because of genetics, and so families don't want to share that information, don't want to know about it. In any of it could be something like this, and that's why they were not talking about it. But what I realized was that because we were not talking about it, I mean, I've been exposed to so much. I'm a well-read, educated person, and yet when I was going through this, and we kept thinking it would be maybe perimenopause or whatever else, you can give it various names, but the fact that it could be cancer didn't cross our mind. The dreaded C or the disease, there were all these ways to refer to it. Nobody even said cancer. Right. And it didn't even occur to anybody that it could be this disease. Right. And the fact is that had it occurred and we would have done a simple test, I could have caught it early, and I wouldn't have to go through the debilitating treatment that I had to go through. Right. Because that now is something that I have to live with. 7 years down the line, the side effects of that treatment are immense. Yeah. And that is something that I'll have to live with all my life. Yeah. And had I caught it early, I wouldn't have to live with those kind of side effects. Right. So the point was that, okay, if this is the thing, then I need to talk about it. We need to have this conversation. People need to accept the fact that you need to test. Yeah. And not get upset about the fact that you're being asked to do tests. Yeah. A lot of times, doctors are making us do tests. No. Yeah. You need to do it because it's only when you rule out, instead of saying, we had to do a test, you should celebrate the fact that it was negative. Yes, absolutely. So and that was what then Goldie and me decided, we need to speak about this and talk about it, because I always say, early detection saves lives. Mm-hmm. And it's so curable. If you catch it early, this disease is not so dreaded at all. It can be caught. Absolutely. And what I'm saying is, of course, you went through something that perhaps you could have been spared, but even being diagnosed at stage 4, we were talking about this earlier also, is that when people hear that they've been diagnosed with cancer, any kind of cancer at any stage, there's a sense that that's the end. Yeah. Certainly when you're diagnosed with stage 4 cancer,
most people will be frozen into paralysis by that, and really
I was also for a bit, like into denial that maybe this is not happening. It's a dream. I'm going to wake up from it. But my partner, my husband, was not in denial about it, and he just like really pushed me. And in literally in 3 days, we were out of the country. The tests had gone, and he just worked 24/7. And he was like, there was no stopping him, and he would just not take no for an answer. And he said, no, you need to do this. And at that point, it really irritated me. I was so upset with him. I was angry with him. I fought with him all the time. But today, I can only thank him for it and nothing else.
May I ask you, that moment when it was told to you that you're diagnosed with stage 4 cancer, did you understand what that meant?
I mean, I knew it was something terrible, but it just kept feeling that how could this happen to me?
Yeah.
Again, like I said, that for me in my mind, this happens to someone somewhere.
Yeah.
Not here. And then I realized that it's happened in my family, but they've never spoken about it.
Yeah.
And had they spoken about it, maybe the coming generation or others can be more aware of it.
Right.
And that was when I realized this. Other than talking about it, the other thing that I did was traced our family wherever they were in the world and got everybody tested.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Dr. Serene at Tata,
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
We sent everybody who were here to him, and we got that. And he was like, nobody comes and does genetic testing, and we don't have enough data. But data is so important,
Data
because that gives you can understand. Like when I was in the US, they asked, the moment they saw what the symptoms were, they were like, okay, which community are you from, kind of a thing. And they know that the moment it is this community, this could be the genetic thing.
Right.
And it is something similar that happens here also, but we just don't have enough data to prove it.
Right.
And if we could have that kind of data, then it would really help the doctors in diagnosing things faster.
Absolutely.
And once you know that, then you can take certain calls. And I'm not a doctor, and I can't even be saying this when Dr. Sewanti is sitting here. But what I feel in layman terms is that what happens is that you don't always have to, like what my doctor said, we are going to, it's nuclear, we are going to carpet bomb your body. And you don't have to carpet bomb your body if you can have different tools of diagnosis, which genetics is one of it. Then you could do precision treatment, immunotherapy, things that are so new, and there are newer things that are happening. You don't have to put your body through that always. So there are just so many other things that are there. If only we open out, have conversation, do the test.
You're absolutely right. Dr. Limaye, that makes me come to you to ask you a little bit about people who are watching, are aware now, and we spoke about this again, that cancer is like an epidemic. Firstly, the rates are on the increase in India as well. For women especially, things like ovarian cancer, breast cancer, lung cancer. Mm-hmm. What are the tests that everyone must do, and how do we know if we're genetically predisposed? And people who have cancer in the family, what are the tests that they specifically should do?
Yeah, so very pertinent questions, and what an inspiring story, Sonali. And I just want to acknowledge that. I also want to acknowledge the fact that Sonali was very open about it, because that and the journey, her journey itself has inspired millions and continues to inspire. And I can't even tell you how many times I have had her picture in my slide. So unbeknownst to her, we are all inspired by her. Patients for sure, but doctors also, because in our field, especially advanced stage patients are not around to say the story. So those who are and are bold enough and brave enough to come to the podium and inspire others, we must project them. Now, coming back to your question, what tests should we do for screening? So screening is a poorly understood subject, and that is a submission. That's something that I would like to acknowledge here, commit here, that screening remains a poorly understood subject, because right now, if you really see, screening is available for oral cavity cancer, it's available for breast cancer, it's available for colon cancer, it's available for prostate cancer and cervix cancer. Screening is not available for, let's say thyroid cancer. It's not available for lung cancer. Lung cancer screening is only available for high risk subjects. And how do we identify high risk? smokers. We say smokers or passive smokers are high risk. But actually India is seeing almost an epidemic play out in non-smokers lung cancer. Asia Pacific region is seeing that. But we don't know the exact methods to screen non-smokers. So gallbladder cancer, liver cancer, many cancers, even for ovarian and uterine cancer, we don't exactly know the best screening methods. There are certain efforts towards screening that I would like to mention here, and those that we can screen for, we must screen. So oral cavity screening is just a good oral examination done by even your dentist can do a good oral examination. It is specifically important for tobacco chewers.
Right.
So first of all, they should leave tobacco chewing if they are into it. Smokers, alcohol addicts, all are at risk for something called field cancerization. The entire field that is exposed to a carcinogen can transform into cancer over a period of time. So oral cavity examination, quick cursory oral cavity examination. Mammograms, sonograms for breast cancer starting at 50, even for those who have family history start at 40. Colon screening happens with colonoscopy once in 10 years. You're supposed to do a colonoscopy starting at 50 for sure, and earlier if you have a family history. Cervix, we all know, all of us should be undergoing pap smear examinations, right?
Annually.
Yeah, annually and very, very young. And these prostate, you have serum PSA and you have digital rectal examination. You have for ovary, uterus, and for many other malignancies, you have serum tumor markers that can be done in blood. Problem is that these tumor markers are not very specific.
Right.
So sometimes those who have disease may not produce the serum tumor markers, and those who don't have disease may produce serum tumor markers. For example, I have a young girl with endometriosis who came back positive for CA125 when there was no cancer. I have a pitch here for cancer screening, and my bottom line is only paranoid survive.
Yes.
Said by a very close friend. So I say, if there is a symptom, go get checked.
Right.
If the CA125 comes back positive, go get checked more.
Right.
Yeah.
But
Rule
less
it out.
check, rule it out.
Right.
Yeah.
Less checking is not game.
Right.
Just because of how things are, and the fact that 3/4 of all cancer, most certainly 2/3 of all cancers are detected in advanced stages.
Right.
Because we don't screen well.
Right. And we've again spoken a little bit about how sometimes it's not access to resources that stops us from screening. Often it is just fear of discovery, even.
Or just I'm going through it also. Like I was 7 years down the line, and I'm like, this year I was, I'm done with it. I don't have to go through a screening, even if it is once a year or whatever. Just the fact that you have to go through it, put the dye in, and all of that. It's just such a process. And like I said, you start forgetting the not so good parts, and you want to move on from it. So you just want to forget it. So I did go through it, and I fell down. I broke my wrist, and I had to go through surgery and everything. And I said, "Oh my God, this is like an intervention. I need to do this. I'm in the hospital. I need to do all my tests." And I just went through all my tests, and it was good to know that it was all clear. But it was just a reminder.
It's
and I'm coming closer to that end of the year again, where now doctors talking about screening, which means I need to go.
No, but I think
in another month or so. This time,
please do.
I call it Scanxiety.
Yeah.
When you have to go
absolutely.
for a scan, before that anxiety. So I call it Scanxiety. It's just you go through it, and you just want to avoid it because you don't know what you're going to hear. And then when it's done and you're clear, and that relief and the joy that you feel after that, oh my God, yeah.
It's true. I want to ask you so many questions about all the things that come after, life after cancer and surviving. But I just wanted to start with, again, if I could take you to the beginning and ask you your idea of health. We've always seen you. We've seen you on screen, of course. I've had the opportunity to see you in person also when I came to New York and you were shooting with Bhai on Kalona Ho.
Yeah.
And everybody has always described you as, of course, beautiful and of course talented, but also somebody who had a healthy lifestyle.
Yeah, I mean, I really had I didn't have a mad lifestyle. I was
Right.
not that, the drinking, smoking. I was not into that, or like this crazy hours. I mean, my crazy hours were only work related.
Which of course, yeah.
Yeah, which we are in that line. So, but you know what? A lot of times I also feel, I have to make it clear, a lot of times we associate thinness with fitness, which is not true at
No,
all. At
no,
all.
yeah.
I was thin, but I don't know if I was fit at all, because I needed workout and I hadn't been working out. So definitely that was something that needed and still needs to be improved upon. But yeah, I didn't have a crazy lifestyle. I didn't eat a lot of junk food or had some weird, like, bad habits,
Yeah.
so-called bad habits.
Yeah.
I didn't really have that. So I was not that person who should be. But that's what goes to show that it's not just about how you're living, or are you a smoker or a tobacco chewer. Sometimes it can be genetic, and that's why the genetics are important. That's why conversations in families are important.
Yes.
That if some aunt has gone through it, and if you know about it, then you know that, you
Yeah.
know what, my masi or my bua has been through it. Maybe I should get myself checked, you know, that just do it early on. Do you have similar genes? Check yourself. You're done with it, you know, after that.
So I'm assuming then you didn't
I think
do
once you're 18 or 20, it's a good time to, or if you have it in your family, it's a good time to go through it. It's a one-time thing.
Right.
And if you know it, then you will, if it is in your genes, then there is a very specific timings when it is going to show up in your age-wise. Then you know when you have to be careful and what are the signs you have to look out for. So you can always go in early then.
Right. I will ask you a little bit about those signs to look out for, and also about stage 4 and it presenting itself, and how that happens. How is someone detected with stage 4 cancer at that stage and not before? But I just want to touch on, I'm just assuming then that you didn't do those tests.
I'd never done those.
you'd
I'd never done a health checkup other than, I mean, after you have to do certain blood tests when you're delivering a child,
Yeah.
and you go through it.
Yeah.
And after that, not even pap smears, you know, so like, you know it, I'm talking about it, I'm telling people that, you know, you should do
Yes.
this, and
Yeah.
you know what, you should look, and at that time, just before that, the cervical cancer was a conversation that was starting, and I was like, great. And I was looking at it because you were also, the conversation was about not just girls, but maybe it should be given to boys, and I have a boy. So, you know, I was actually reading up on it. That's what I mean, that, you know, you're doing so much for the child. What should my mother be doing? What should my mother-in-law be doing? What should my husband be doing?
But you never think.
And even if you think, you just push it for some other time. And, you know, you're just so busy with so many things that you just, I'll do it at some point. And, you know, suddenly do it at some point, and so many years pass.
Right.
And I'd not done it.
Right.
So it was after knowing all this and talking about it, I'd still not done my own tests. Can you imagine?
Yeah. Dr. Limaye, how does one then get to, and this happens, you know, people are diagnosed at a later stage. How does that happen?
Cancer has a lead period, right? Mostly when patients ask me, how long do you think I've had this?
Yes.
My general answer is around 2 years, because that's the amount of time we study. In theory, it takes for something to become cancer, converted into cancer, and then grow the stages, spread. Stage is spread, right? Stage 0 to stage 1, when it really becomes a form, and stage 2 and 3 when it has gone to the lymph nodes, and 4 when it is spread to other sites.
Ji.
It has been in someone's body for a while before it gets to stage 4. Problem is, most cancers only manifest symptoms when they have traveled places, and they are bigger in size, they have spread somewhere and causing some symptoms.
Right.
Symptoms also happen quite late. There are some cancers that will give symptoms early, but there are most cancers, especially lung cancer or uterine cancer, sometimes if it presents with bleeding, it can present early, but if it doesn't, then it can just, the abdominal cavity can accommodate so much that the symptoms may not arise quickly. Ovarian cancer goes undiagnosed for a long period of time. It could present with spreading to the covering of the intestine. It could also present with fluid being filled up in the belly. And so these are all locally advanced or advanced stages when we actually get symptoms and we figure out that we have the disease.
Right.
That's why I think in a resource limited nation, where screening is still being practiced in a very, very limited way, we need to high risk identify. There should be a list of 10 questions, and we have come up with a very segregated high risk identifier list, wherein we are trying to at least catch those who have A, symptoms, to B, history, family history, exposure, predilection, job, or whatever led to their high risk. So those patients should at least get identified. Subjects, not patients. Subjects should get identified. We may still be over screening them, right? Because they identify themselves as being high risk, but raising awareness, putting out these facts that these are high risk people,
yes,
and letting them opt in for screening methods. And screening methods, what I described, but I also practice new age screening, which is still waiting for additional data to come in. And when you look at true recommendation from American Cancer Society, you will still find these not being recommended. But I've always been ahead of time, and I am a paranoid, so I recommend doing whole body MRIs yearly. I recommend doing liquid biopsy for cancer screening, which is going for FDA approval just as we speak. So these things will become...
What do you mean by liquid biopsy, Doc?
So it's a blood test which is able to pick up 70 types of different cancers, and this is a different method. This is circulating tumor DNA.
Is this what they mean when people have
list.
been telling me that you do the blood test and we can pick it up at like 0 stage and
That's
stuff
correct.
like that?
It's just that there are 20 tests already in the market, in the global market.
I don't know which ones are actually.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's
so one would have to either go to an oncologist and take their prescription to take the right test, or one would have to wait for the data to come in, because data, when you have FDA approval, there is a stamp that this test is validated.
Right.
Correct.
So these are the two ways to figure out which test to do, because it's not yet ready for complete prime time utilization. Having said that, if there is a symptom, don't ignore.
Right.
These things are for asymptomatic individuals going and doing a yearly whole body MRI.
Right.
But if someone is having a symptom, someone is having a chronic cough, don't sit on it.
Right.
Go and get an examination. At max, you will do a HRCT, a low dose CT scan or an HRCT without really finding anything. But just like Sonali said, a negative test is good news.
Yes.
Yeah. Don't mourn that, celebrate that.
Right.
Look, I wanted to. I'm sorry.
No, please. I like it when guests take over. I'll drink my.
I just wanted to ask you a question.
Yes, please.
That when you speak about this blood test and you can detect it, I get it that FDA approval is not there, but FDA approvals take 10 years, 12 years. People don't have that kind of time,
Sure.
And in 10 years, you from 0 to you are no longer there kind of a zone.
Yeah.
So, is there any kind of a side effect to that test?
No, there isn't. The only side effect is overdiagnosis.
That's it, right? So there's no harm in getting it. And if you get something which says that, oh, you have a predilection or it is a 0 stage, go to the doctor and there's no harm in it, right?
No,
it's not going to harm us in any way.
There's no harm in it. The only harm is you may be over testing, which we are already severely under testing.
Right.
We are not even doing what is recommended as a screening method, even by guidelines.
Right.
We are not doing them.
Right.
As a society, we don't screen.
Yeah.
So what do they mean when they say that, oh, it was there, but a few weeks later it showed up negative? That's because the test could show up, and
very
sometimes
good question. So actually, when we look at these tests are largely done by two methods. One is circulating tumor DNA, the other one is circulating tumor cells.
Right.
Now, cancer is a phenomenon that is happening in all of us.
Correct.
Each person's body. It's our cells. We are continuously making cancer cells. Our immune systems are clearing those cancer cells. So if something shows up in the blood as being intermediate or high risk, you need to follow that up with the next blood test
to see if it's been cleared or not.
Exactly.
So your body its own immune system will kick in.
It's really not that scary actually, because
it's your
cancer
body.
cells are our cells. They are in each of our bodies.
Yeah.
So it's just when they go completely
Right.
out of whack,
Yeah.
then
Like
you
an
know
autoimmune, like it's
Yeah, exactly. It's an autoimmune phenomenon for the cancer cells to get cleared.
right,
Your body's immune system should be clearing it.
right,
But if it doesn't get cleared, and in that liquid biopsy, if you see a rising trend,
yeah,
that it is confirming, and you've not had a scan, that's the time to have
Yeah.
a scan. That's the time to have a routine screening, complete routine screening done. Let's say there's a smoker who hasn't really had a low dose CT scan, which is a screening method approved by all guidelines, and that person has not screened and their blood test comes back positive. They need to get that HRCT done because their cancer may be caught early.
right.
But what about the fact that now for me, the easy way out, because like I said, I get Scanxiety, and every time I have to go through scan, it's a process, and it takes a while for you, because you're putting those toxins into your body, and it's painful in that sense. I mean, I don't know, it's
Yeah,
uncomfortable. So for me, just a blood test is not enough. No, but that blood test shows negative, so I don't need to do a scan. I'm not the candidate for
Yeah,
it, right?
You already have the answer. You're like, am I right? Am I wrong? Can I please be
I was
wrong?
hoping she'd say,
Yeah,
no, it's
okay.
No, I will talk with you offline.
You're not getting away with it that easily.
I have something, but I'll talk to you offline.
Okay then. Can I take you back to, since you didn't do the testing, then what are the symptoms that you were presented with? Or what symptoms did you experience to make you up the ante and go to your doctor and say what's
So
going on?
actually, I'm not the right person to ask, because the symptoms were there and I was being treated for the symptoms. It's just that they never thought this would be
Yeah.
cancer.
Right.
So that's why it was such a surprise, and it was such a this thing. So again, like I said, that these are the things that can happen.
Right. And these things could be symptoms and there could be something more sinister.
So yeah, and there will be people who will always be paranoid and say with every symptom will be even a slight cough could be, oh, it's something, is there a cancer in my throat kind of a zone.
Yeah.
I'm exaggerating, but there are people who could be to that level, or there are others who could be going through immense amount of pain or whatever and say, but I can pull through and go through with it. And most women are like that.
Yes.
Because we bear the pain and we like, it will happen, and we are so caught up in various things, and that's our conditioning, I feel, as women. So we do tend to overlook things because we feel that, oh, it's pain and we'll get over it, and stuff like that.
But I mean, and then we changed because my mother was like that, and then she became more paranoid, and then with her lung cancer, which was stage 0, she said, you open me up into a biopsy.
This was my lesson. I learned that lesson with this.
Yeah. Before we move on to other things, I just want to touch on the hereditary part of it.
Yes.
I wanted to ask what factors actually, if any, make a cancer hereditary?
Yeah. So before answering that, I just want to take a leaf from what Sonali said and complete from my side as a person sitting on the other side of the table most of the time. When I look at my patients, I actually feel differently, and I feel very strongly that how in COVID times everybody who had a cough and a cold, we would think that they had COVID.
Yeah. You would sneeze and you'd be like,
we were all paranoid, and we thought, now if I were to sneeze, you're not going to think COVID. But the way cancer numbers are, 1 in 2 men and 1 in 3 women will be affected by cancer in their lifetime. These are words from Globocan.
Right.
And most recent Globocan. So this number has not changed. So the way the numbers are, I think we should be paranoid.
Yeah.
What you were just saying, I feel strongly about that. I feel that we should be oriented to thinking cancer. Because if we don't think cancer, what is happening is symptoms are still being thought to be as a result of infection, inflammation, and patients are getting treated for 6 months, 1 year, and then they are showing up into our clinic. By that time, the disease is already stage 4.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it becomes very important for us to catch it early to give the highest, longest survival. So that I want to lock it there, and then I'll answer the next question that you have in terms of hereditary cancer. So nearly 20%, 20 is a stretch, 10 to 20% of cancers are hereditary, familial. Okay, they'll pass in families. 80% of cancers are sporadic, or I say sheer bad luck. When I say sheer bad luck, it's actually another way of saying I don't know.
Right.
You know, I don't know what caused
Sure.
someone's cancer.
Yeah.
That's how it is. Science is only that advanced to understand these are the 10 to 20% of cancers. These are being inherited in the family. There are 20,000 genes in our body. In that, there is a whole cohort of genes that cause hereditary cancer.
Right.
And those are the identified genes. When we say we don't have data, we don't have Indian ethnicity data.
Right. That's right.
Yeah, we don't have Indian ethnicity data. And so we need to do what we call germline testing, much more. Germline is when we inherit a gene. And that gene then is broken. And it was not supposed to do this, but now that it is broken, it will lead to cancer causation. And this particular gene has these cancers, and this particular gene has these cancers. I think all those are higher conversations. If there is family history in my family, I must get cancer screening done, whatever is out there. I must also seek a genetic counselor and see what am I at risk for. But the most basic thing is yearly screening.
Right.
I must get screening done, and not just anywhere, because hereditary cancers are still very poorly understood in India. You know, a center like Tata Memorial Hospital.
Actually, it was the only center which had genetic testing at that point of time. A lot of other new people are coming in, but you don't know how good are they.
So, you know, a tertiary quaternary center, a precision center would have that information. So I run a precision center, and we do all the hereditary genetic tracking. We also practice something called precision screening. I feel cancer detection and cancer screening should focus on high risk immediately. And that's a person with a family history.
Yeah.
That person definitely needs to be understood better. Their family history needs to be understood, what you were saying, family tree. We need to understand all that, and then dedicatedly tell the patient what all screening needs to be done for them.
Right.
Understanding their family tree and their genetic risk.
Yeah, what I'm getting from this is very important to have these conversations.
Yes. Yeah.
Firstly within our families, and then without our families also, that people know. The conversations that are also really difficult to have and important to have are conversations that we find some people don't have, even when you're diagnosed with cancer. It's difficult to share. Like when you started off this, saying that in your time in 2018 when you were diagnosed, nobody was talking about it. And today, 8 years down the line, people are talking about it, and I was telling you, I really feel like you paved the way for that. You know, I don't know how.
Well, I would say, Soha, now as I look back, I think this is the only thing that I would say it would be like, okay, this is something that I've achieved.
Yeah.
I don't think anything else is an achievement in that sense, you know, quite frankly, because you come with genes, you have certain looks, you get the job, you get the opportunities, and you know, stuff like that. Everybody works hard, so hard. All of us know that. So you know, really, that is not the thing. But here, starting this conversation and carrying this conversation forward, I felt was now when I look back, I feel this is the one thing in my life. I feel okay, yeah, I think I did start something, and it was good that I could do this, and I'm grateful that I could do it.
100%.
If I may add,
You must.
one more very big achievement which she has totally underplayed. She fought this.
Yeah.
She fought the freaking stage 4 disease away.
Yeah.
You know, I think that is one of the biggest achievements. It's extremely brave. How many patients we see giving up every single day?
Yes.
How many families we see giving up every single day?
It's true, and
You know,
to tell that
very
story gives hope to so many people, and really the differentiating factor sometimes, and I know nothing, between survival and not is that will to survive. And that will comes in when there's hope. If there's hope, and that hope only comes in when there's knowledge of people having fought this.
You know, I think that's also a state of mind sometimes, because now when again, this is something that, because whenever I go in and have these conversations, and you know, when you meet some people who from the beginning have a certain way of looking at life and attitude towards life, and there are some who don't have certain, you know, there are different kinds of people. So I think I was just that person who would go out and look for what is it that I need to live for or survive for. And I remember someone I knew very well was going through this at that same point of time, different age group, and it was like, what is the big deal? You're being so particular about what you're eating and what you're not eating, and being so. What's the point of living if you have to live this kind of life, etc., etc. And I said, you know what? Maybe when I'm your age, and God forbid if I ever have a relapse, maybe I might feel that and say that, yeah, I've lived my life. And I said, but right now, I don't think I've lived my life. I don't think I've done what I need to do.
Yeah.
I have a young child and I need to be there for this child. I brought this child into this world. It's my duty to shape that child and to give my child a soft landing, till he becomes an adult. And so it's my duty to be there for him.
Yeah.
So at that point of time in my life, I felt that.
Yeah.
And that's when I said that maybe later on in life, I might not feel it. I might feel that, okay, but yeah, done with it, it's time to move on.
Yeah.
You never know.
Or even not then. I'm saying even if at your later
Or maybe
stage,
at that time I might find something else to live for, or I might want to move on.
Yeah.
I don't know. So I'm not sure exactly what is it, but it's usually something that you want to kind of live for or
But
stay
can I
for.
say, did you immediately kick into battle mode? Or was there a process of denial? Or
There was a denial, no doubt about it. For that, like I said, that my husband was a very, very strong person, where he didn't let me go. Even if I was in denial and not doing it, he had moved full steam ahead and passed the tests on, moved the thing, gotten in touch with doctors. So while I was going through this, he had moved ahead, fully. And then there was that period, and then you come to it, and then of course you go through it as to why me and all of that, and then you go like, but this is a negative way of thinking. This is not going to achieve anything. And what is the why me? I mean, what is the answer to it? I would say that why me? Because today I'm sitting here. It is me because I have the support system and the capacity to come to the best healthcare facility in the world as known to us right now. That's why me.
Yeah.
So it is why not me is what should be the question. So I started asking myself, instead of why me, I started asking why not me.
Yeah.
I have the thing. If anybody, it should be me.
Yeah.
And then when you come back and when you do a lot of stuff now over the years, and as you look at all the women and what they go through, like when you go to Tata or even other centers, and women are sent out of their houses, they're thrown out of their houses with the kids saying that, oh, ye, bimar hai, this, that. And they come from these small towns, they don't even know what will happen to them. And then that mother, if she's thrown out alone, she'll probably give up.
Yeah.
But she's thrown out with the kids and she's like, oh my God, what will happen to my child? And those mothers fight it because of that child. Then they survive it. They come back to help in those hospitals. And I hear all these stories and the hardship they've gone through. So when they come and tell me, oh, your story inspired us, and I'm like, oh my God, look at you. You are the inspiration. Because I had all this. You had nothing and you did it.
Yeah.
They are the true heroes, I feel.
Tell me, Dr. Limaye, the importance of that support system. How much of a difference that makes?
I think support is one of the most crucial things.
Yeah.
It's just it's a battlefield, and you need to do it together. I mean, everything that Sonali has just described about her family, her husband, and how he just forged ahead while she was still in denial. That's the support system we all must have and generate, and I feel one of the things that really went in her favor was also that she opened up about it. So friends, family, whoever, I say this to patients all the time, if possible, share. If you don't want to share on a mic, at least share with your close friends and family who will stand by you. Rally up support. Every time you come for chemotherapy, you're getting bored, you bring someone with you who can entertain you with a new energy. Yeah. Because the same people may not be able to. If you have a nuclear family, look at your friends and your community members. There are so many initiatives that actually look at supporting cancer patients and their therapies. And so don't suffer alone. Do not take this down alone. There's so much more energy when you're doing it together. True. And do it with optimism. Whatever you can muster, and bring in optimistic people to surround you.
It was a gut feeling actually which happened, and it was instinctively what we did at that point of time when I was going through it, and which was anybody who would come with, oh my God, God, what has happened to you? We're like, out. Goldie was like, out. And I was like, next time,
I
don't
don't
call
wanna
me,
do
I'll
it.
call you. Yeah. It was like, I don't want to deal with this right now. This is not the energy that I need. Everything it's so precarious, you know, the balance, and you can just go down a rabbit hole.
100%.
And getting out of that hole is not easy.
Exhausting.
So difficult.
To
Yeah, and
muster
it's
up
very
all that.
hard to do that. And you know, so any tool that you can take, be it therapy, the friendships,
Yeah.
everything, just take. And therapy not just for the patient, but also for the caregivers, because they are going through so much. So all of those are the tools that are, you know, people say, you know what, it really helps, and you need to take all of that on, and really genuinely need to keep negative people out, with or without cancer, that is.
That is very true, and I think perhaps when you have an experience like that, it immediately helps you to cut through.
There's some
this I don't
clarity,
need, complete clarity. We try and protect our children. I think anytime it's an instinct to try and shield them. And you know, you're saying the family comes together. A huge source of love and support is from our children. Like, I'm just thinking of my own, but I do try and shield her. I also try and include her. And you've spoken about this many times in terms of how it was broken to your son, the fact that Goldie broke it to him on the way coming to see you. You referred to a book.
Yeah.
What was that
I'm forgetting the name of the book now.
There was a book you said that you read.
Just
You had already read together.
Something and drums.
Does anyone
I'm
know?
forgetting the name. It's there somewhere on the internet, 100%. I've
A book about drums.
Yeah, it was about
we'll find it.
It was about a family that you know, two siblings, the family, and the family goes through cancer, because when you read aloud and you're reading to the thing, we had read this story, and it was about you know, the younger sibling going through this, and it was from the point of view of the elder sibling and how everything had. And so the moment he was told, he said, oh, you know, the entire family is going to get affected, Papa, he says, and that's because you know, it's going to change everything around. And I mean, I'd read this not even knowing that I would ever be diagnosed. It was a story one was reading, and that's how beautiful books are.
Yeah, it's
they're
true.
so beautiful. And that book, at that time, when I read it some time back, and it comes back, and my child says that, yeah, I've read this book, Papa, Mama, and we have read this book, and the whole family gets affected, and we all need to rally around, and we all need to make changes. So it really helped
he's
me.
11 or 12 at the time.
He was 12 at that time, yeah.
And to have that. And then, if I can ask you, the decision to go to America was, at that point, you said in 3 days you guys up and left. There are options available in India. The decision to go to America was just to go to the place.
No, definitely. Even at that point, the options were definitely available in India. No two ways about it. And honestly, I did not want to go.
You said something about your cupboard was not locked.
I mean, yeah, literally, like, you know, I've not packed anything. What is the thing? I don't know if I've locked the cupboard. And he's like, what the hell? What are you thinking of? But, you know, having said that, it was available. It's not like it was not available. But Goldie was very clear. He said that, you know, this is the place which has only dealt with all kinds of cancers. So he said that I'm not doubting anybody, but just on the law of whatever, 10,000 hours or 12,000 hours or whatever, they for the last 99 years or 100 years have only dealt with all types of cancers. So he says, you know what, if I'm at this stage, I don't know where it is,
and
I don't want to take a chance on it, because nothing is more important than your life at this point of time. And he says, I cannot live with this regret. I will not live with this regret. I will give it my best. And so it is not, so he said, it's not just about you, it's about me also. Because I cannot live with this regret. It will kill me. So that's why we went. And I was, and that sentence was what got me going. I was not getting out of the house. I was like, I'm not stepping out. But that line, when he said it, it's not just about you, it is about me. I cannot live with this regret, or, you know, if it ever, I have to give it all. And I said, yeah, you know, this is not fair to him. And that's where we went. People
think, you know, again, a cancer diagnosis, they think, my God, it's going to cost a lot of money.
It does.
I think somewhere you referred to insurance.
Yes, insurance is very important. I think insurance companies should come to me, no?
But I've
never done.
Maybe they will. No, they haven't already. But my mother also said, she said when she went for her surgery, she paid a little amount. I mean, relatively.
The earlier you catch it, the less you have to pay.
This also makes sense.
Yeah, that's a great excuse to go and get yourself tested.
You spend less money. But there are options available. What is insurance like? What kind of insurance cover should we be getting?
So whether options are available in India or not, I'll address that question first. So I think a a lot of centers have come up. I've now been in India for 9 years. And even during this time, I see, centers mushrooming. There is a general understanding of good practices.
Yeah.
So, within the oncology community, certain things are okay and certain things are not. You will get, as an oncologist, you will get cited if you're doing wrong practice. People, within the camaraderie, people condemn people who are not practicing the right kind of oncology. Having said that, I completely understand the patient's mindset. There's one life.
Yeah.
So what is happening in general is another thing. But what is happening to me,
Yeah.
and how can I get the best care? I totally understand this emotion. So, and even otherwise, I 100% back second opinions.
Yes.
100%, 200%. I actually have a private company to that effect. I have an American company to that effect where we provide second opinions, international second opinions. Because I feel that if there is a patient who needs to start treatment and wishes to talk to a thought leader who's the rule maker with their pen or their laptop about a particular disease, it is the right of that patient, that life, to seek the best recommendation.
Yes.
So, if there is a way to quickly circumvent that, go there or be here and talk to someone, or if you're living in a tier 2, tier 3 city and it's Dr. Limaye or Dr. Sudeep Gupta for you, or Tata Memorial Hospital or someone where you
it was Dr. Yogesh Kulkarni at Kokila when I came back. And you know what, actually I started my journey the other way. I went to the US and it was my doctor there who recommended my Dr. Yogesh Kulkarni here. He said, I worked with him, he is very competent, I am sending you to him. He called him up and he sent him a mail saying, I'm sending my patient to you. And he told my husband, she's missing home, she's missing her child and her dog, so just take her home now.
But you come back when you're cancer free?
No, I was not. I came back here, and that's what I'm saying, that my doctor from there handed me over to my doctor here, that was Dr. Yogesh Kulkarni, and I came here. And he said that if you feel like you can always come back or whatever, but I have a feeling once you go, you are not going to. So Goldie, who was here, went and met him and he said, you know what, I really liked him.
Yeah.
I'm feeling very confident with him. And then he brought me back. Yeah. And till today, it's Dr. Kulkarni who handles all my scans and everything. And, it's just an amazing person.
That's nice to be then close to home.
Of course,
you don't feel so.
So Dr. Lateo and Dr. Kulkarni have been my doctors. And, thanks to them, I'm here.
Yeah. And the second part of what we were talking about.
Yeah. So essentially, when we have second opinions, we have a place to go to, we must seek that, no matter where the patient gets treated. It is always good because cancer is an ever evolving subject. It's a new subject, if you see. And, every week there are new drug approvals. The guidelines are changing. Sometimes I'm unable to sleep because, something will change if I were to just forget to read. And also the fact that in India we cover a lot of different organ systems.
Right.
Wherein in the international world there could be one organ system for one doctor. And even amongst organ systems they divide. Someone may just be doing not all gynecological malignancies but only uterine cancer, only ovarian cancer.
Only like the building for breast cancer is different.
Yeah.
So many.
So those systems are evolved. Having said that, ballpark, the front line treatment, the first line treatment for most cancers are available in India at this current time. It's only when the front line treatment does not work.
Right.
But the front line has to be the right treatment.
Right.
And what if where you have gone, that doctor does not know the right thing to do for you? It is always important to cross-check. And I'm not just saying this because I am in India.
I understand.
I saw the difference even as a practitioner in the US. I've been a faculty at Harvard and Columbia, and I could see that patients who came from the tier 2, tier 3 cities in the US may have not received the most standard care. And this is like 10, 15 years ago,
Right.
when this had already, one has lived through that. So fast forward to the Indian model, we have 10 times more population.
Yeah.
And how do I just assume that whoever is seeing, doctors are so overworked,
Yeah.
oncologists are overworked. So I think it is patients' prerogative and their right to meet 2 or 3 known clinicians, cross-check what they are saying, and if in doubt, escalate to international thought leader. And not everybody can do that because these are expensive, but tertiary, quaternary centers, landmark centers like Tata Memorial Hospital or an established large cancer center can still be able to provide that validation to the treatment recommendation, and that should be sought.
I don't want to touch on treatment very much because you've already spoken about it a lot, and treatment varies from person to person, of course.
Yeah.
Just again, if I can ask you without causing too much pain and trauma, what for you was the most challenging aspect of the treatment?
It would be the pain, of course, the physical pain.
Yeah.
Which what you realize is that the disease probably might not be as painful or hard, but when you go through a treatment like a chemotherapy, it is so debilitating, and the recovery from it and the side effects of it are so long drawn and probably last you a lifetime. And that's why when you talk about immunotherapy and all of the things, it's like music, because I can't associate music with cancer, but yeah, what I mean by that is that the harshness of the treatment is so strong,
And you feel
that probably some, like an immunotherapy where it's more targeted, you don't lose your hair a lot of times and all of that sort of a zone. Sounds like, for me, when I hear that kind of a treatment, it sounds like, oh my God, that's like a dream.
Yeah.
So it's that bad when you go through chemo, the side effects, and especially because it was it was like I told you, my doctor used the word carpet bombing the body. So you are killing everything in your body. And then as it starts growing, you kill it again, till only the good cells survive and the cancerous cells don't come back. So you're basically killing everything inside.
Yeah.
Then you wait for it to regrow to a certain thing. That's what my thing was.
Yeah.
And there are different ways and different types of chemos and how they give it and all of that. And I just felt that starting it hard, for me, I thought logically as a layman was a better option, because that's when your body is the strongest during the treatment. It's better to start hard. I hear a lot of people say, gently start karenge, then build up karenge. And I'm like, no, because when I think of what I went through, and I'm like, that later part of those sessions, if I had to go harder then, I was like begging, can we go a little, like, lighter on the drug at that point of time? And we could, because I was recovering.
Right.
But if at that point, if I had to increase it, it would be terrible, because my body was already going through so much.
Right.
So, the pain, I would say, would be the thing that my entire, like, not only your joints, the neuropathy, which even now when you're tired or you're cold, it comes back. The joint pain, your fascia paining, literally your entire fascia.
That's
is
the
paining.
muscles, like the...
No, the entire thing below your skin,
Right.
that covers your whole body.
Right.
So there's, you can't point out that one single thing, but everything is you are just pain.
And I don't think if you've gone through this, you can even
So
feel
you
it,
need
understand.
the pain management is very, 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 very important.
And there is...
because that helps you keep your head spaced.
So what kind of pain management
So
can one do?
in India, you don't, because I was abroad, I could get certain drugs that you can't get in India,
Okay.
that I could use over there. I really can't imagine myself without those drugs, because the pain was so bad.
And it makes a difference, those
It
drugs?
makes it, because the moment you're in pain, you are going to spiral. Life is not worth living when you're in pain.
Yeah.
So the pain has to be managed. It's a huge part of the treatment. So when doctors talk about, for me, I had in my doctors, I even had a naturopath as a part of my team, because I felt that all that was important, because your oncologist is busy doing what they need to do the best, and that is get your body free of cancerous cells. But while that is happening, all the side effects, it's the pain management, the naturopath, they are helping you deal with the side effects.
But explain what is a naturopath for people who don't know and how they help you.
how do I explain a naturopath? So my naturopath definitely knows the Western medicine, because you need to be on board with it and understand that whatever natural medicine that you will give should not in any way cause another side effect or stop what is happening. It has to only help and support your Western medicine. It is not an alternative. And at that stage, there is no alternative to Western medicine. At this point of time, the stage that we are at, there is no alternative. But these are definitely something that can support your healing process.
Right.
And the faster your body heals, the more your body can take the treatment. Because like I said, it's a very simple rule. It is, you carpet bomb your body, you take the medicine, you kill everything there, which is good cells, bad cells, everything. Good cells are growing back. Slowly, slowly the bad cells become lesser and lesser and lesser. Now, when in the process, what your body is going through, how do you heal your body faster? Because it's only when your body heals that your body is going to be able to fight back. Because eventually, what are cancer cells? There's something that is in your body. They haven't come from outside. So it's just that your body is not able to fight them, and that's why they have grown, where they become cancer.
Yeah.
But if your body controls it, then the same cancer cell is not cancer, so to say, right? So we just have to get our body healed, and to a degree where it can fight those cells, and you don't have to go through the medication. Am I explaining it correctly, doctor?
No, you've explained it wonderfully. And actually, what Sonali is explaining is called the host behavior, right? The body has the cancer, right? So what we are doing with chemotherapy is we are killing the cancer cells, but we are not doing anything to help the body,
right?
To help the host, where the cancer is living. That's where she took help from all these supportive care systems to heal, to get better, to eat right, to exercise.
The naturopath, the exercise, the pain management, the mental health, therapy for it. You have the oncotherapists, and you act, because it's a different process. So these are all supportive systems so that you heal better.
Yes.
Because it's all one, and that's what I understood from this, that we are not different parts. Oh, my face is looking nice. I can be in front of the camera. Does nothing. Your whole has to be nice, and which means the whole that is not seen in front of the camera or to our naked eye, it's what is inside you. And there's a lot of that is not, your gut, your brain, the connection between them. All of these things are very, very important. And yes, in that, a naturopath really helped me with dealing with, because your gut is your brain, and your brain is your gut. It's the same, and the chemical reactions are the same, and the bacteria are determining what you feel in your brain. So, it is very, very important to treat it as a whole and not as parts.
I think people now are understanding a little bit about the relationship and how important the gut is, and how it's your second brain. What I loved about what you said in another interview was also how you started speaking to your body and talking. And you said, it might sound strange to people, but I was having conversations and, thanking my body, feeling gratitude, encouraging. And I think having that...
I think your body listens to you, everything. Not I think, I know for sure that your body listens to you. Every cell is listening to what you're doing. And that's why, actually, if you go to look at it, and our elders have always said that think good thoughts, speak good thoughts, hear good things. Because whatever it is that you're going through, and it is always like, oh, old man, come on, not cool enough, or whatever it is that we might feel. But that is the fact. Because your body and your cells are listening. They interact with the outside world through whatever your perception is.
Yes.
And if you are talking negative things, then the cell's perception is negative.
Yes.
That's what they are looking at. And that's why do not think that this will happen to me, because then it will. Be sure that it is not going to happen. And then I'm sitting here with the doctor, and I'm going to say something which I'll probably get trolled for. But that's when, so many years down the line, as you learn these things and you understand, and then you come to the point where you say that eventually it's all about faith. And that's what I'm now beginning to understand. I've not even accepted it fully, but I cannot deny it anymore. Let me put it that way, that I cannot deny it anymore, that there is so much that we still don't know at all. And so there is so much that is, as a parent, it's faith eventually that you have to look at that. I cannot deny that fact anymore.
I don't know if all doctors are at odds with faith.
So I think faith is the biggest thing. Faith, without faith and without hope. Oncology journey is, and actually a doctor's journey as well, is non-existent. And especially as an oncologist, and I actually have said this in a lot of my interviews, my coming into oncology is about the spirit of oncology. And what is the spirit of oncology? The undying faith. Faith in life, faith in surviving, faith in living. This is a stubborn faith that exists within a patient, where despite, that's why I said, what needs to be celebrated, what is being underplayed is her being so brave as to fight the disease, which stems out of faith. I'm going to live through. I'm going to make it on the other side of the line. And I'm going to do this. So that faith, that courage is, that is what has motivated me to come into this line, because science is there. Science is there in every kind of medicine. But it's the faith, the hope with which a person like yourself has come this far.
And I feel like we've only met a couple of times, and I feel like you would also, the support you get from your doctor. There might be some doctors who are okay with taking a slightly more slower, laid-back approach. I don't think you're one of them.
No, I self-identify as a very aggressive doctor, but at the same time, my aggressiveness is not about very high dose treatment, or my aggressiveness is about the right diagnosis, the action in time, investing your energy in getting the support system intact, in bringing multidisciplinary care, in seeking additional answers, maybe from, and not shying away from saying, I don't know everything, I'm going to check. I'm going to ask. Let me be your champion to ask to the next level of people, to an international expert, to whoever knows the answer.
I want to talk a little bit about recovery and the recovery phase and just life now, 7 years down the line. You referred to the fact that you broke your wrist, and that the results of chemotherapy stay with you 7 years later, makes your bones brittle. That could be one of the things. Your body has been through this nuclear attack. What are some of the things that are still with you?
The moment you don't pay enough attention to working out, eating correct, all of that, the pain comes back, the neuropathy comes back. That's the thing about the high dosage, these side effects come in. I mean, at one point when my neuropathy was so bad, I couldn't feel my hand till my shoulder.
Tell me what neuropathy is. What is neuropathy?
It's numbness of the nerves. So it happens through the nerves, but it's essentially a feeling of glove and stockings.
Oh, something is...
that you don't feel the skin as well.
Like if I'm sleeping, I know that my hand is here, I'm touching it, but I'm not feeling it. And that would be, so it was very hard, the treatment, because of the stage it was at, and it was nearly into my soft tissues and very close to the brain and stuff like that. So it was like there was just no more time. So it was hard, but it all starts coming back. But the thing is that when you work out and when you go through, eventually it's the blood flow. You've taken the medicine through it, the scabbing in the veins. So, but if your blood rushes through it slowly, it erodes the scab, and it will get better. Understanding the fact that I still have a little window of getting it better. As I grow older, that window is going to shrink, so I need to be on top of it. But sometimes I get lazy, and then you fall, and they say, and the doctors say, oh, maybe because of the chemotherapy, the bones are brittle. And I'm like, I know the bones are not that brittle that I would break. It was a bad fall. But hey, thank you. That's a reminder. I need to get back to all the things that I have been taking easy about. I just need to get back on the...
So what are the important things that you do now? You work out, You do intermittent fasting?
I do intermittent fasting, yeah. So, I mean, very recently, I think I got really trolled for a post that I had put out about, you know, there was a piece about this Japanese doctor who won a Nobel Prize for autophagy.
Yes.
And, you know, because that just made sense to me and I followed. So when I was asked to, look, that's what I mean by faith. When I went to a naturopath, that was not my faith. It was like, okay, let me see what else can I do to pad myself up. So when I was asking him, there were multiple questions that I was asking. Why would you say something? Why do you think this is going to work? And then it's not like somebody is not just going to hand it to you. The doctor can explain it to you only to that much. After that, you have to do your research and you have to understand your body.
Yeah.
How does it work for you?
Yeah.
Because the doctor is not going to understand exactly how it's going to work for your body. That's the feedback you have to give to your doctor. So which means you have to listen to what is going on and, you know, like you need to work a bit at it and not just expect that, oh, doctor, I've gone to the doctor will hand it to me. No, you have to do some work on it too. So in that zone, when I put that post out, a lot of people commented about, oh, it's not alternative treatment and it's not just for this. But the fact is that we are in today's day and age eating too much. Our bodies don't need that much of food.
No, I mean,
what is happening?
Sedentary lifestyles anyway.
Not just for that, we don't need that much food. Because it's easily, what would we do earlier? We're not that far away from our nomadic lifestyles as yet. Our DNA is still very much there. And what would it be? You would hunt or you would cook it yourself and then you would eat. Here we are just opening one packet and we're popping things in. You know, getting food has become so easy that even if you eat diet food, so-called, or less, you're still eating too much. It might be healthy food, but you're still eating too much. It's not about healthy or unhealthy, it's still too much. Because your body is not getting enough time to rest. And what happens is that when you fast, if you see all the faiths across the world tell you about this, the goodness of the fasting. What happens is that when you're fasting and your body needs protein to grow, what happens is when the new cells, when they need the protein, they start eating up the old, diseased, dying cells, which is your body's vacuum cleaning actually.
And that's the process of autophagy.
Autophagy, yes, where your body is basically, your new, young, healthy cells, when they need the protein, are eating up the old, which means your diseased cells are getting eaten up and converted into protein.
Including cancer cells?
Exactly. So, okay, I don't know how much, but this kind of logic when told, and this is what this Japanese doctor spoke about, made sense to me. Because my cancer was genetic. Hey, I can say this is genetic. I don't know when it will come back. It can come back in different places, and always stay in fear and always be sad about it or be worried about it or just give up life because, you know, it can happen. Or when you do something like this, it makes me feel like I'm doing something about it. It makes me feel that I'm in charge of it. Because I'm not really. It is genetics. That was not my doing. This is what has come to you. So what is it that I can do that makes me feel like, okay, I'm doing something about it. When I do something about it, it keeps my head in a good place. So what this autophagy probably does, all that it says it does, but for me what it does is, it keeps my mind in place where I feel, I'm doing this. Look, I'm on ball with it. I'm going to be okay. It gives me a positive attitude. And I think if whatever they say and claim, if it is not true also, this keeps me going. So hey, it works for me.
No,
and that's what my post was about, which everybody went very this thing. So I'm again, so I'm just underlining that everybody's treatment is very personal and how they understand it and how they deal with it. There are certain generic drugs and doctors can help you to this much and they are doing their best. But you can't sit back and say that, oh, the doctors are doing it. You have to also do certain things. You have to help the doctors, help you.
I will actually summarize this because I am a data-driven person. There are lots of realities and then there are lots of myths, and it will take an entire day to outline that. But there is one bottom line to what helps a person stay away from cancer, and that is eating less. I'm just going to say this in a very simple way. Eating less. You look at 20 studies. The bottom line is to eat less
You
There
do
are
it by
ways.
intermittent or you do it in some other
Right,
way.
Some
Whatever
other
works for
way.
you.
You're
Yeah.
eating less.
Also,
That's
doctor,
one.
there
Yeah.
was another thing, when we say eat healthy, because sometimes a food might be technically what you call healthy, but might not be right for your kind of cancer.
Yeah. But are there foods that would not be good for the
Yeah,
cancer
but
that
like,
you had?
for example, if yours is a estrogen, cancer that grows
Dominance,
on estrogen,
yeah.
then flax seeds is not good for you.
Right.
But this, when I started talking about it, a lot of times I saw most of them, because in healthy, these are all healthy. It's not necessary that always all kinds of whole seeds and whole foods, maybe your body
Yeah.
might not digest it as well. Maybe you need something that is little softer to digest, because your digestive system is different.
Right.
So everybody is different, and you can't cut paste
Right.
according to you. So you have to listen. You
Right.
can't say that this is the shortcut. There
Right.
is no shortcut.
Right.
You have to understand your body, try it, and say that, is this working for me or not?
Right, right. Wonderful. Thank you both so much. Sonali, just a parting comment from you to anybody who's watching, God forbid, who might be battling an aggressive form of cancer right now. What is something that you would like to tell them and you feel they really need to hear?
Aggressive form, you said. I think correct me if I'm wrong, doctor,
Yeah.
I'm saying it right. But most of the time, if you have an aggressive form of cancer, which is good, because aggressive forms really, get treated better and faster.
I did not know that.
Yeah, that means you can get treated better. So
They respond
aggressive
in
is
a
good.
higher way to chemotherapy.
Yeah.
See, I mean,
That's the doctor
Yeah.
said it. I didn't know how to explain it better.
Right.
So yeah, I think that's the way I would look at it. That okay, it's aggressive, so that means it will react
So
better
yeah.
to the treatment. Good.
Wow.
And if it is not aggressive, then it's a slow growing one, which means you have time to take it out and figure your life out and work around it, and then go into it.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's always a silver lining somewhere.
Amazing.
Yeah, it's amazing. Thank you both so much for taking the time to come here. I know you've spoken at length about this. Are you going to write a book about this?
No, I think I've spoken so much about it. In today's day and age, I don't think I
Write
will.
your own books from all the information that I've given.
Yeah, and I'm really if you're going to write a book, I would read a book that Dr. Sewanti writes, because it will have what is new, what is cutting edge, what all we can look forward to, how do we interpret what is new, because we don't understand it. So what I went through, many people go through. That's it could be cancer, it could be some other disease, it could be an accident, it could be losing someone really close to you. Trauma is trauma.
Yeah.
And a lot of things are written about trauma.
Yeah. Thank you both so much, and
Thank
thank
you.
you for just being the person that you are,
Yeah.
for battling this, for surviving, for being with us today, and for sharing your story. And thank you, Dr. Limaye, for all your expertise and all the wonderful work that you continue to do.
Thank you, Soha,
Thank
for
you.
having me and giving me the podium to speak.
Again.
Yeah. To raise the cause. Yes.
Thank you both so much for being with us today. And I think what today's conversation really reminded me was that aggressive cancer definitely moves fast, but so does courage, so does science, and so does the human capacity to endure. And what we heard today wasn't just about treatment plans or survival statistics, it was about presence, truth, and hope that is grounded in reality. If you or someone you know is walking this path, please know this, that you are not weak for feeling afraid. You are not alone in asking for more answers, more care, or more compassion. Thank you so much, Sonali, for your bravery and for your honesty, yet again having a conversation with so much sincerity. And thank you so much, Dr. Limaye, just for the humanity that you have and all the science and information that you know, and for sharing it with us and all that you bring to medicine today. Until next time, please do stay informed, stay healthy, and we will see you in the next episode.